Alright guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So it sounds absolutely crazy to say this, but it's week 17 of the NFL season, and the New York Jets are traveling across the country to take on the Seattle Seahawks. This is do or die. This game is absolutely massive for playoff implications. We all know this at this point. We know the scenario, right? If the Jets win out, they go 2-0, and the Patriots drop at least one game, the Jets will be in. Okay, and that would be absolutely massive. And funny enough, the Seattle Seahawks are kind of in a similar situation as the Jets, where they're below 500. They haven't really been, in fact, they actually have the same record as the Jets at 7-8. They haven't been playing their best football in December. The Seahawks are on a 3-game losing streak. The Jets are on a 4-game losing streak. Both teams are trying to fight to get into the playoffs with that last remaining wild card spot. So this game is absolutely monumental for both teams involved. And when I look at the Seahawks, I gotta be honest, I really like and respect this football team. I mean, this organization was written off by so many people out there. Some of the storylines that the national sports media was creating was insane. I mean, people were having the Seahawks finish as the worst team in football, picking number 1 overall, starting over with Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, just selecting a quarterback, right? They traded away Russell Wilson. They got rid of Bobby Wagner. They're starting Geno Smith. Like, they got a bunch of rookies all over the place with Kenneth Walker and Woolen at corner, Cross at tackle. I mean, the Seahawks, they just did whatever they wanted this offseason, and it worked. And, of course, they are below 500, but from where the expectations were going into the season, I feel like Seattle has just completely exceeded those. I mean, Geno Smith is playing at a phenomenal level, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 3,800 over 3,800 passing yards with a completion percentage above 70%. Geno is playing out of his mind. Okay, and I do not want the Jets to go across the country in a hectic environment, December, cold weather, and look like they did against Jacksonville on Thursday night, and then the Lions the week before that, where it's just lifeless football. Bad decisions from the quarterback, offensive line cannot block, mental mistakes all over the place, drop passes, defense can't get off the field, poor clock management. It's like, I don't want the wheels to fall off. There's 2 more weeks left. These are 2 critical. Season's not over. It's not like the Jets have 3-4 wins. The season is still alive. The playoff hopes are still alive. So when I look at this Jets offense, obviously Mike White is back, and that is going to help this football team out. I know Mike has been cleared to play. He's been cleared for contact. I get all of that, but at the same time, looking at how this offensive line has performed over the last couple of weeks, I really don't want to be in a situation where White, a guy who's coming off rib fractures here, is constantly picking himself up off of the turf against that defense. I don't want to be in that position. So I know it's great that Mike is back, but I got to be honest, I think if I was LaFleur here, I would really try to establish the run, rely on the running game. The Jets have 3 young backs. They have 3 backs that have upside, 3 backs that, in my opinion, can explode at any time. You're not solely reliant on one. You got James Robinson, you got Bam Knight, you got Michael Carter. These guys can make plays with a football. Seattle's actually one of the worst teams in football at stopping the run. They're allowing 155 yards per game, which is 31st in the NFL. They're averaging 4.9 yards to opposing running backs, which is 25th in football. And they're 29th in rushing touchdowns allowed. So you're limiting White's dropbacks, you're minimizing the risk of a possible re-injury or, the quarterback position just taking an absolute beating. You're controlling the game, you're feeding your young playmakers, you're wearing down that Seattle Seahawks defense, and, you look at time of possession, if the Jets are running the football effectively, then, chances are the Jets are probably going to be hanging in the game throughout the course of 4 quarters. Now, as far as the Jets defense is concerned, I think the cornerback play and the safety play have got to be top tier. When you look at the Seattle Seahawks offense, yes, they're great. They're 9th in points per game, averaging 24.3. They're 13th in yards per game, 348.5. They're 10th in the NFL in touchdowns per game. And the Seahawks throw the football a lot more than they run the football. Okay, now that could change maybe a little bit with the return of some injuries, but on Seattle's offensive side of the football. But this is a team, this is an offense that relies on throwing the ball, and they are effective doing it. We ran down Geno Smith's numbers before. I'm sure you've heard the Geno Smith hype and storyline this season, right? Just putting the ball in play, completion percentage. It's just making so many good decisions with the football, and it has to be fun to watch if you're a Seahawks fan, a guy that's kind of been in the organization for a couple years now, and actually get the chance to crack the starting lineup. It wasn't just immediate pivot Russell Wilson to a top draft pick, or Russell Wilson to whoever, Carson, another one of these quarterbacks that were on the move. It was, they kind of promoted from within, and that was really, really cool. But they heavily rely on throwing the football. Okay, so if the pass rush could get home, if the corners can just play tight coverage at the initial, in the initial parts of the play, I think the Jets defense can force stops, and I think that's going to be really, really important. The one kind of wild card here is Geno Smith's legs. This has been an ongoing issue for the Jets defense, stopping not necessarily mobile quarterbacks, but when quarterbacks do decide to use their legs, whether it's a Josh Allen, whether it's a Mac Jones. He's not the most mobile guy in the world, but he at times really hurt the Jets defense. Trevor Lawrence this past week. These quarterbacks have taken advantage of the Jets defense on the ground, and Geno Smith can move. Okay, so I think really the pass rush is key. Just read and sauce on the outside, just in that initial 2 seconds. Can you maintain like that sticky coverage? I think the Jets defense will really have a nice shot. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.